Comment, like, subscribe. The bell keeps you notified. It helps the show thrive. When you search for towns and cities with Christmassy names, you will probably notice that a huge amount of them are located in the United States of America. This got me thinking, does every state in the USA have at least one name that sounds somewhat Christmas related? Well, after scrolling through every state's list of municipalities Wikipedia page, I can say the answer is a resounding yes, as long as you stretch your imagination just a tad. So for the second video of Name Explains Christmas Week 2022, here's a list of one Christmassy place name I found in every state in the USA. Some are unquestionably Christmassy, and some need a tad more explaining. It wasn't the easiest task finding a Christmas themed name for all these states, and of course there are some duplicates in all of this. The main thing I uncovered from looking at basically every settlement name in the USA is that there are an awful lot of duplicate place names in the nation of the United States. Like seriously, why are there so many places called Badger in the USA? That whole thing could be saved for another time, when I'm not full of Christmas cheer and have no motivation to write actual videos. Anyway, let's go in alphabetical state order, shall we, starting with Alabama. And in Alabama, I found the city of Evergreen, which relates to the evergreen nature of the trees we use as Christmas trees. Alaska might not be home to the actual North Pole where Father Christmas is seen to live, but it is home to a small city with the name of North Pole too, which seems to put on quite a show for the big day itself. Despite how little snow the state of Arizona gets, the state has a town called Snowflake, which are of course very much linked with the festive season. I found a couple that was somewhat Christmassy for Arkansas, but the one I'm going to share with you all is the small community of Holly Grove, with holly being a very Christmas themed berry. For California, I decided to go with perhaps its most famous location, Los Angeles. This name means the angels, and angels are very much a big part of the Christmas story, with Gabriel and co playing their role. And as a bonus for California, there's also Hollywood's nickname of Tinseltown, with tinsel being a popular Christmas tree decoration. Colorado is home to a municipality named Winter Park. For us here in the Northern Hemisphere, Christmas is held during the season of winter and is one of the defining features of the season for many of us. Connecticut has a town dubbed Bethlehem, and this isn't the only Bethlehem in the USA, as you will soon see. Delaware is a relatively small state, and the closest to a Christmassy name I could find was Laurel, like a Christmas laurel wreath hanging on a door. Florida is the first state we've come across with a town simply named Christmas, which is undoubtedly Christmassy. There will be a few more of those too. Equally Christmassy is the city in Georgia dubbed Santa Claus, named after the big man himself. Hawaii was undoubtedly the state I found most difficult to find a name that was remotely Christmassy in. The best I could find was Waimea, a small settlement which has a name meaning reddish water. This is Christmas themed because red is a colour linked with the festive season. Like I said, it's a bad choice, but I honestly couldn't find anything better. If there's something more obvious I'm forgetting or overlooked, let me know. Idaho, however, thankfully has somewhere with the name of Santa, which is once again more or less as Christmassy as it comes. Illinois has a small village in it named Joy, which is an abstract noun linked with Christmas a lot. Indiana once again gives us a town with the name of Santa Claus, and it seems to be the most popular Santa Claus name out there, very much cashing in on that name. Iowa once again has a place with joy in its name, but it ups the ante calling it Pope Joy. This is even more Christmassy than just joy, because as head of the Catholic Church, I imagine the Pope is quite into Christmas. Kansas is home to a city called Partridge, which is the bird your true love gives you on the first day of Christmas, more often than not in a pear tree. Kentucky houses the very small community with the name Mistletoe, which is traditionally kissed under during the holiday season. Louisiana presented to me multiple choices. I ended up going with the town of Maryville, as Merry is the adjective most linked with Christmas. The state of Maine is home to Christmas Cove, which is superbly Christmassy, I'm sure you will all agree on. And for the state of Maryland, I'm not going with any particular town or city, but instead I'm just going with the state's name of Maryland. This is because Mary is also the name of the Virgin Mary, the woman who gave birth to Jesus, which kicked off this whole Christmas thing. For the record, Maryland isn't actually named after the Virgin Mary, but is named after a different Mary. Which Mary is that? Well, I shall tell you once we hit our goal of $1,000 a month on Patreon. Yeah, this is a Patreon plug now. My goal for so long has been to hit $1,000 a month on Patreon. When we do, I intend on making a huge video explaining how every state in the USA got its name and its nickname. If you want to see that video, love this channel, and want to enjoy benefits such as ad-free videos and exclusive content, then why not join the Patreon as a holiday treat for myself? Just $1 helps out amazingly. Or you could just Google the answer for yourself in regards to what Maryland is named after. That works too, I guess. Moving on, however, in the state of Massachusetts, we have the town of Merrimack. Once again, it made this list due to kind of featuring the word Mary in its name. Michigan is home to somewhere simply named Christmas yet again. For Minnesota, I decided to go with one of its most well-known cities, that being St. Paul. This is because the real St. Paul was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus, who, once again, this whole Christmas thing is kind of all about. Mississippi had a couple of options which were vaguely Christmassy, but I decided to go with Jumper Town because of Christmas jumpers, which I imagine are more commonly known as Christmas sweaters in the nation this video is all about. Missouri is home to the city of Noel, which is the French word for Christmas. Montana left me struggling for Christmas place names, but I went with Deer Lodge, a city named after deer, which are close enough to reindeer, I suppose. Nebraska is a pretty cold place, especially in the winter. Christmas is linked with the cold too, especially in the northern hemisphere. So what better Christmassy town name is there in Nebraska than Burr, the word we all say when we are cold? Nevada is a tad hotter than Nebraska, and it wasn't too fruitful for Christmas names. The closest I could find was Sparks, a city in the state. I chose this one because of the lights and stars that spark with light that are linked with Christmas. New Hampshire features a town called Orange. Now, I'm not sure if this happens outside of the UK, but it is a tradition here to get an orange for Christmas. Though no sure if that happens anywhere else in the world. It's kind of weird now that I think about it. But that's why it's on this list. New Jersey might just have my favourite Christmas themed name, with the town of Ho-Hocus, which is just one ho off the big man's catchphrase. New Mexico has multiple places with Santa in their name. They also include other words like Faye, Rosa, and Clara too. These names use Santa in their traditional sense, as the Spanish word for saint. New York State features a town also called the North Pole, which is even further than Alaska's attempt. North Carolina blessed us with another Bethlehem, and North Dakota has Killdeer, which is what Santa does when he works Rudolph and the gang too hard. Ohio had multiple choices, but I went with Colton, simply because coal is what the naughty kids get from Santa at this time of the year. I once again struggled quite a bit with finding somewhere for Oklahoma, so ended up going with a city called The Village. While not massively Christmassy, quaint little villages are often linked with the Yuletide, especially little model ones. Oregon thankfully has somewhere called Christmas Valley, which made that one much easier. Pennsylvania once again gives us another Bethlehem, which won't be the last one. And for Rhode Island, the best I could do was Jamestown, simply because James was the name of another of Jesus' apostles. South Carolina gave us the town of Holly Hill, with Holly being, as mentioned, very much linked with the holidays. South Dakota has Faith. I mean, it probably has faith in a lot of things, but it specifically has a city called Faith too, and faith is a pretty Christmassy concept, right? Tennessee had a few options, but in the end, I decided to share with you all the town of Baileyton. This might not sound too Christmassy at first, but it shares its name with one George Bailey, the main character in one of the most beloved Christmas films of all time, It's a Wonderful Life. In Texas, we have the city of Garland. Garlands are once again a popular Christmas decoration, and in the state of Utah we have the town of Joseph. I chose this one in ode to Jesus' dad / not dad of Joseph. I'm sure you know this guy. Vermont gives us another Holly themed name with Mount Holly, and Virginia has a town called Sugarland Run, which sounds like a Christmassy place Buddy the Elf would call home. Washington State has a city called Gold Bar, which I'm seeing as an ode to the gold one of the 3 wise men gave to baby Jesus. West Virginia gives us our last town with the name of Bethlehem in the USA on this list. And then we have Wisconsin, which has a small village by the name of Rudolph. the name of Santa's most beloved reindeer. And finally, we have Wyoming and their town of Cokeville. That at first glance might not sound too Christmassy, but I went with it because somehow a carbonated drink, which by and large are most linked with summer and heat, has found itself as a Christmas tradition through sheer power of advertising alone. Coke even played a role in creating the image we all have of Santa Claus to this day. But despite the popular thought, they didn't create that image of Santa in red, they merely popularized it. This, however, gives us one place name in every state of the USA with a Christmassy name. Were they all incredibly Christmassy? Well, not quite, but each one captured Christmas in one way or another, at least in my eyes they did anyway. From obvious ones like Santa, Christmas, and Bethlehem, to names that capture specific elements of Christmas like Baileytown, Cokeville, and Los Angeles. Let me know about some other Christmassy names in the states I might have missed out on, or even highlight some other Christmas-themed place names from wherever you may be on planet Earth. If you're coming from the actual Bethlehem, however, I'm not sure if that counts. This video topic was voted on by my patrons over on Patreon. Normally, however, every Wednesday I put up a video request post over on my Patreon for my awesome patrons to leave video ideas on. I then pick one of those ideas to be turned into a video the following Wednesday. So if you have a great idea for a Name Explain video and wish to enjoy Name Explain videos ad-free as well as get exclusive content, then why not support the channel on Patreon? It takes just $1 a month to help the channel in a huge way and gets you all of these amazing benefits. Visit patreon.com/nameexplain or click the link down below. Name Explain depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, and the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explain videos. $2 a month gets you all that, plus your name here with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/nameexplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and once again, thank you all so much.